Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with my co-host, Mr. Makobura. Makobura, how are you doing, sir?
Yes, good evening. I'm also okay. I'm doing good. I
Mhm.
hope you're also doing good.
Yeah.
Hope,
Okay. By the way, we were supposed to be having our guest, but we try our best. There was a technological error on both of our sides. We could not connect to one another, but it's something that we are going to work on. So, in the course of this week, maybe tomorrow, we will bring him on board so that we can discuss what we were supposed to be discussing, especially when it comes to the leadership of especially young people who are trying to fight for their space in the political field and trying to make a change, bringing in new leadership. So we will be discussing about that too. So Marco Buddha, there's an issue that has really happened in Siaya, you know, the over land dispute where somebody has just touched a house that has left almost 9 people dead. That is one. There's another also Shakahola in Migori County. We have another Shakahola in Migori County, in Rongo, whereby 2 people were found dead, especially from a church, something like St. Joseph's, And it is another story again concerning about how do we relate to God and what does the religion hold for us. If we reach at that point whereby people could lose their life in the process of worshiping or in the process of um, having a different view, especially in terms of religion, that's something that we are going to discuss. Today, again, the former Migori governor, Okoth Bado, admitted today when he was testifying at the courts that the late Sharon Otieno was the girlfriend and they were in a relationship. He confessed that even his wife, the wife to the governor, knew the relationship. So those are just the development that we are having today. To crown it all, president is still in China, and we will be following up on that and bring you the news and the good news that president is going to come with from China. So, what is your take, or what do you have on your side?
okay, thank you. Maybe to give my take on the issues that you've raised. First, of course, the death of around 9 family members who were touched by someone. And the news that is coming out is that all this, this death, the death of 9 people is coming as a result of land dispute. And I think in this time of the
Mm,
year, or in this time, it is so unfortunate that we are still experiencing such kind of things. It
yep.
is so fortunate and very painful to lose a whole 9 family members just because of issues to do with land disputes.
Yep.
And I wonder where the humanity has gone. If you can, you know if you can find the courage to kufungia a whole 9 family members their house, and then you pour petrol around ndio wachome. I think that was so unfortunate, and we rebuke that. And I think the police need to do more on investigation,
Mhm.
just get to unearth whatever really happened. And those people who participated should actually face the full force of the law.
But Makobura, sometimes I think it might not only be a dispute that have caused that, and as you said that the relevant authorities, especially the police, should investigate and uh, like to find out what is happening. And when it comes to issues to do with land is a very sensitive issue. And this is because when you look at in the old tradition, the only source of wealth that people had was land. You know, So maybe there are other issues, I think, to do with the family conflict that might have taken the center stage. And for somebody to reach such like conclusion, it was not a decision that was made in a day. This was something that has been in his mind, and he has decided to do that. That is one. Then secondly, he might have decided that kama nimbaya nimbaya, let us all of us lose it. Yeah, because like to an extent of doing that, you know very well that the government is not going to leave you to be scot-free when you've done such atrocity, you know. So that is something that also might be behind it. I don't think it might be just only because of land dispute. There must be something bigger than that.
Yeah, of course, if it is truly an issue with the land, then probably those are family members, and that there is a possibility that they're related in one way or another.
Yeah,
And my worry or my fear is the level at which that conflict
yeah,
was taken, up to involving, we are being told that the ages of the children were ranging between 17, there was 9, 7, 3, and around 6.
yeah,
You can imagine losing a small baby of around 6 or 8 months in something that the baby is not even aware of, and the
yeah,
kids, and if you watch that, the kind of explanation, the way they're trying to explain it is that the person those people came and poured petrol around the house, and then at the door they ensured that they added another padlock so that the victims would not find their way
escape.
out.
Mm,
And it was so painful if you had someone narrating that the kids were calling on people, and they're dying and there's nothing you can do. I think that was the most painful thing. And it is so unfortunate that the humanity in us is it is no longer with us. If we can make such kind of decisions, a decision of killing 9 is not anything good. And personally, I really rebuke such kind of behaviors or such kind of characters.
yeah.
Ours is just to pray to God to console the families, and to urge the relevant authorities to do what is necessary to ensure that those people are brought to book.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Makubura. And today we are lucky to have our good friend, Mr. Barak, after a long time. Barak, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, good evening, and thank you so much for hosting me today. I'm doing well. I've missed you guys. I've missed our viewers, and I'm so happy to be here.
What happened? You decided to kupotea bila kutueleza umeenda wapi? Ama
Eh,
wewe ndio he has decided, are you from the new Shakahola in Rongo? You know we have a new Shakahola that has happened in Rongo, in Migori County.
Yeah, I saw that, and
Mm-hmm.
issues of religion are very interesting,
Mm.
and the debate of religion, it will never come to an end because it dates back to the history of humanity
Mm.
and how religion uh, makes people to even forget about themselves. It's something that you can never understand. Even after seeing what happened in Shakahola, people still planning to do the same in Uganda.
Mm.
Where did we leave our brains when it comes to religion? And religion, politics, football, they are just the same. They reduce people.
Maybe to ask you, because always we know, for instance, that the only place that we can get rescue, or the only place that we feel can restore us, the place of restoration is especially when we come to religion and pray to Jesus to restore us, because that's where the hope is. And on a daily life, majority of us are going through something that sometimes we might have involved the scientific or the medical, and we feel like now the last resort, let us go and have that a moment with our maker. So in the process, those who have been given the mandate or those who have been anointed by God to connect us with our maker, um, make us go through some of the prayers that might lead us over there, so that we lose the way we think, or it is us ourselves who have lost it, or what could be the problem?
Just the religion is very problematic. That is just my observation.
Okay.
Because even if we want to have an objective conversation about religion,
Yeah.
many people will not be comfortable with that conversation. Because number one, we were nurtured and we were whipped to believe in a certain way that in terms of religion, you don't question the so-called man of God.
Mhm.
You don't question, you just oblige, you just follow, and you conclude by saying amen.
Mhm.
And you are told that you do not attach the anointed one of God. Those are warnings that are in the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're following the Bible as your guidebook, and then you will realize we were just celebrating Easter the other day, last
Mhm.
weekend.
Yeah.
If you read the Bible clearly, you will see that the people who crucified Jesus were religious leaders. Yeah. So religion, you must be very careful as someone who is following. That's why that's why we have the guidebook, and that
Mhm.
guidebook to the Christians should be the Bible. But the question is, how many are reading the Bible to understand what the Bible says? And
Mhm.
because of that lack of understanding, that's why we ended up having within the Christianity alone, we have more than 37,000 different denominations within the Christianity alone using the
Mhm.
same Bible. Yeah. And as long as humanity, when a human being has problems,
Mhm.
they believe in divine intervention.
Yes.
And there are some problems that you are supposed to solve yourself without involving God.
Mhm.
And there's some problem that we need divine intervention where human brain is limited. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we there is so I think that we abuse religion so much as humans, and that's why we are ending up having such things that are happening in Chakahola, and that's why we are ending up having people who believe that you should pray to get a car, you should pray to get development, you should pray to chase hunger. Yeah. And if you go to some churches, you'll realize that the man of God is telling you he's praying for you to get a car. And when he wants to buy his own car, he's
Mhm.
telling you to contribute to him to buy his own car.
Mhm.
So how where do you draw the line? If the man of God wants to buy his own car, you contribute to him. But
Mhm.
when you want your own car, he prays for you to get one.
Okay.
Where's the rationale?
All right. And maybe Makobura, based on what Mr. Barak is saying, and Barak, welcome so much to again to Brother Benson. You are our panelist, and we know what was happening behind the scene. But to our viewers, Barak is now back full time, and we will be having conversation with him. Now, if you connect that, I want to bring you to the intelligentsia class, and there are these people who are very intelligent. And if you look at what happened, maybe in Rongo, especially, and you ask the rationale of the religion, and come to the intelligentsia class, the people who are very intelligent, and how now becomes in our political landscape where the political class is giving a lot of money to a church, and the churches that they're giving those monies are very specific, because you cannot find such big sum of money is given to a church maybe that has like a population of 2 people or a population of 20. and you are told the people who are criticizing giving to the church are the people who never attended uh, Sunday school. That is according to Honorable Oscar Sudi. Now, based on that, does it mean that the political class also does not understand the religion, that or does not understand the religion and the Christianity, and they believe that the only way that can connect us to God, or the only way to prove that we are people of God, is through giving? Makobura, or Makobura is still having, maybe before Makobura comes, Barak, what do you say about that? Because this is an intelligent class that knows what they are doing, and they're saying, okay, if those who are criticizing because they never went to Sunday school, they don't understand the reason for building the church. And this church that are being built, they're very specific. There are churches that, if you see their buildings or their infrastructure, are massive, but there are also churches that are upcoming. We never see them going to these churches. If it was a building church, why can't we build even the ones that are having lower population?
Yeah, politicians, they are not doing this because of ignorance. They are doing this because of politics.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the politicians will not allow their population
Yeah.
to get out of, let me just say, poverty, or the problems that they are facing. That is why you'll see a politician donating 20 million to build a church, and yet in his own backyard, children are studying under a tree. Yeah. And 20 million, if you take to local schools, they can build several classrooms. They can equip laboratories, and they can equip libraries in those schools. But why will he opt to build a church and yet do not to empower the upcoming generation? Because if you educate the children of your society, you are building a better tomorrow. Because these children are going to be problem solvers of tomorrow. They're going to be a better leaders of tomorrow. And if you build a church, let's take example of Europe. Europe, they build so many huge cathedrals. Those cathedrals, most of them have been turned into cinema halls. Yeah. The only difference between us and them is that they already built schools and all the social amenities that the society needs. But us here, we are busy building churches, ignoring investing in education that will ensure that we get out of the problem that we have today, the poverty that our society is facing today, the ignorance that we have in our society today. So politicians are doing it out of politics and selfish interest, and not because they are ignorant, because they know. And since they know that the religion is the easiest way to whip emotions,
Yeah.
because you are told that if you invest in God's house, then people who go there will see you as someone who is God fearing and everything. But they know that they are just playing with the people's emotions. It has nothing to do with helping the church or the church leaders.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak, and maybe Makobura, if you have a comment on what Barak has said, especially when you look at the political elite contributing such like money, big money, and given an example whereby the children are still studying under tree, or the classes that they are in, nothing so much has really changed. But we go every day, we go before the Lord and give this money. Sometimes our education system is not working, but you're being told, like, okay, those who are saying, okay, instead of giving this money to the church, can't you divert it, bring it to the schools? And you're being told, like, those who are doing like that, these are people who never went to Sunday school. Why?
Okay, thank you. Maybe I'd also not said hi to Barack. Barack, do I say Happy New Year? I'm not so sure if we've talked. If you had the show this year, let me say Happy New Year.
Mm.
Yeah. So, oh, you have something to say, Barack? Ama niendelee tu.
And I was saying happy Easter. Oh, umeenda mbali sana. Tumekuwa na wewe hata sijaona.
I even
Proceed.
don't remember if we had the show with you like since the year started. So I think it's been a while. Welcome back, and I hope that uko salama. Yeah. So to give my opinion, I think the political class are misusing religion and particularly Christianity.
Yeah.
And again, the good thing with Africa or Kenya is that people believe in their religion, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Muslim, or whether it's Hinduism, or whichever. So, partly, you know, the people believe in, for example, I'll talk about the Christianity.
Mhm.
There is a good number of people who believes in Christianity teachings and the teachings of Jesus Christ, and the teachings are well and they are good, but I think they are being misinterpreted by some of the political class and also, of course, with some pastors or religious leaders. And they're misinterpreting this so that, they can find a way of benefiting from the bad interpretation so that they can make decisions which are not really beneficial to the entire, people,
Yep.
but decisions which are beneficial to their individual needs. And this has gone high. And if, for example, the issue of politicians giving to church, like for example the president, it is right to give to the church. But again, if you read the Bible is very clear that wait, for example, I'll give you just a typical example. uh, with Catholic Church, for example. I'll not talk about other churches because I'm a Catholic, so
Yeah.
I have the nini of Catholic Church. Of course, we do give sadaka every Sunday or after every mass, and from my knowledge and what I know, the church collects a lot of money. And partly, if you ask me, the Catholic Church uses this money to, they bring it back to the society, either sponsoring students, either building, hospital, and all those kind of things, and extending the mission of Christianity, and just coming up with ways of encouraging or ensuring that the people live a life that is befitting. But one thing that I don't understand is, if for example you are president, then you come and gives 20 million to a church, for example Catholic, and you want to give that. And that's why I like Catholic, partly because the monies which are always given, the sadakas, they are not given to, like, they're not property of a priest.
Yeah.
This is a property of the church, and it is sent to the central part, and this money is brought back and it helps people in the entire world.
Yeah.
I've never understood why a particular churches with particular bishops or
Yeah.
pastors
Mm.
would be given 20 million for construction of church.
Yes.
Well, there's we as Christians, we have that leeway and that freedom to come up with different churches. But many of these people, pastors, are coming up with these projects so that they can get money for themselves. It's not about the people, and they're
Mhm.
misinterpreting this in a wrong way, saying that this is church, sadaka ni sadaka, sijui nini nini.
Mhm.
Kifuatilia kile ambayo wanatumia, what they use this money for is not
Mm.
really giving back to the society. It's not really helping the people. So this is where we have a question, and this is why we have a problem with religious leaders taking the money and pesa at they're building churches, and the churches are already there. Why do you want to build churches and there's people in Turkana, people in Kisumu, people in Central, with no schools, with no classes? Kuna watu wanalala njaa, alafu wewe unataka kwenda kulipa sadaka ya 20 million, and you are the president, and at the same time
Mhm.
you are telling the people that I cannot build schools for your children because we do not have money. truly, if you're a leader, why can't you take this 20 million and go build a school for a child somewhere so that they can also get good access now? Pia wapate pesa in the so that they can provide for their families. Why can't you use the 20 million, start up a business for the highly, there's a high number of unemployment in the Republic of Kenya, and people are educated, people are knowledgeable, they have the skills, they do not have money, they do not have the capital. Why can't you take all this money zenye unachukua na start some, maybe some, even some circle, na uanze kupea my youth so that walipe this money with some benefits. If you give it to one pastor, is it really, how is it beneficial to the people of Kenya? That is
Okay.
hypocrisy.
All right. Thank you so much, Makobura. And at the same time, we have to question if at all the clergy or the member of the church who are given this money, and they really, really see the needs that Kenyans want. Maybe they can take the money and say that, okay, we are taking this money and we are going to channel it on this project, or we are going to build classes in certain region. That one could work, but that is a discussion for another day. Today we were supposed to be having one of the leaders from Kondele. He's a youth leader in Kondele, but unfortunately the internet was not interneting between me and me and them, me and him. I mean, but now there's something here that we need to discuss, and I would want to know your opinion. The issue that Oswago, I know you know him. We'll discuss about that before. Oswago used to be the CEO of IEBC, and he has outlined 6 ways, if I'm not wrong, on how the election is being stolen. That is, or the way election is being manipulated. That is the, and also we are also seeing the Kenyans who are very angry about the administration of the President William Ruto. As that one is happening, there's also cracks and is emerging in ODM. The recent one is about Anyang' Nyong'o, that the letter that Anyang' Nyong'o did yesterday. And if you read, I will not read. It was talking about the Kura and Kera, but the last statement, the second last statement, this is what Anyang' Nyong'o wrote. The truth is that the Ruto regime has decided to go back to pre-devolution times of the Nyayo era. The 2010 constitution is inherent to its primitive accumulation schemes, which will affect not only devolution, but the very ethos of building national democratic and development state. That is what Anyang' Nyong'o wrote, especially yesterday. And it has not gone well, especially for the allies of President William Ruto. And remember, we also have broad-based government. So this is now Nyong'o, and there was also that by Orengo that is still having jitters in the political field. Barack, I want to know your opinion. If you combined what Anyang' Nyong'o did with the Orengo saga right now, is broad-based government surviving?
Yes, it is important to understand, first of all, that in Kenya, according to the constitution, we have 48 governments. And 48 governments, that is 47 county governments and the national government. Orengo is the head of one government that is called Siaya County. Anyang' Nyong'o is another head of government that is in Kisumu County. So we have what we call freedom of expression, and that is what I usually stand with. Everybody is free to air their opinion, because that is what is guaranteed in the constitution. So if you, as a Kenyan citizen, despite being a governor, they are concerned about the state of affairs of this country, and when things are not going right, they have equal right as any other citizen to air their opinion on what is ailing the state. On the other hand, they also have their own governments that they are heading as the CEOs. So is what they are criticizing at the national government, what is happening in their own governments? Are they doing much better than the president? As the citizens of Kisumu County and Siaya County say that those governors are doing much better than what Ruto is doing at the national government. Because as far as I'm concerned, I believe that only the people of Murang'a County are happy with their governor. because Governor Irungu Kang'ata is the one who has performed exemplary well, to the amazement of all the country. And we might say that maybe he has some much advantages than the other governors because of maybe of the foundation that were there before him, or of the business community that is there. But that notwithstanding, are these governors who are always complaining about the president doing anything better than him? Because that is where that's where my question should come in. If they are doing much better than him in terms of development, because Ruto is basically just an incompetent leader. So are these governors competent? Yeah, because all the problems that we have in government, they are problems that are caused by incompetence in government. And when the government is incompetent, it means that the head of government is the one who is more incompetent, because he has allowed this incompetence to be in government. Yeah. Now, let us focus on these governors that you mentioned. Are their counties performing better in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of healthcare? Yeah. What are they doing to make them stand out as governors? Or they're just complaining because everybody else is complaining, and forgetting that they are leading their own governments, that Governor Orengo will be coming in 2027 to seek for a second term as a governor. Will his achievement be criticizing President Ruto's government? Yeah? Or will he stand out and maybe count some achievements that he has performed in Siaya County? Professor Nyang' Nyong'o is lucky because he's serving his second term, and in 2027 he's retiring. So I think he's okay. But let us focus on personal competency. I don't believe that because the national government is not performing well, governors should forget about their duties, because they are elected to lead their own counties, and now they are forgetting that, and now they are focusing on the president, who is also has his own government to lead and has his own failures. So they might lose their focus and start behaving like us, common us. We don't have a mandate to lead any government, so we are focusing our guns at the president. Yeah, but governors, they have their own government. Governor Natembea, one of them, Governor Nyong'o, Governor Orengo. Are they doing anything different? Or they are just complaining like all of us, as if they don't have a mandate to perform in this country? That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much. And you brought that issue of where the governors, especially being very critical of the national government, and you look at their counties also, are they performing well? But also, when now it comes to the people on the ground also, and I want to take a typical example with James Orengo, especially based on the remarks he made, because it's something that has been trending. And the majority of people who are opposed to his ideology, or to what the statement he made, was telling Orengo, you should concentrate on delivering on people of Siaya. Leave the president alone. And what you're doing, you are destabilizing the peace that we are in the process of experiencing. And now my question is, when it comes to the freedom of expression or the freedom of association, because we know our constitution has anchored the Bill of Rights, and this Bill of Rights, one of them being the freedom of expression. Why is it so bad, or why does it have a test on Orengo if he express himself of what is happening, but it is okay for those who are saying he should go back and deliver to Siaya people? So who is right and who is wrong?
No, nobody is right and nobody is wrong. The only difference is interest.
Yeah.
Those who are telling him to shut up and concentrate on Siaya County,
yes,
they are feeling that their interest is being threatened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Orengo himself, he also speaks because he feels that his interest is being threatened. So Orengo being a senior leader of ODM in ODM, let me just say in ODM, he's a very senior person.
Yeah.
He has been part of the struggle for second liberation in this country. And we know the role he played since the multi-party, the scrum multi-party democracy, and even in 2007 when we had problems in this country, and we know even the role he has been playing when Raila runs to the court to challenge his the election of the president. Raila Orengo has been playing a very critical role in the judiciary as the lead attorney of Raila's team. So Orengo has a lot of respect from most ODM members because of the role he has been playing. They are seeing him as the attorney general, basically. And remember, even when the ODM decided to chase away Moses Wetangula as their minority leader in Senate in 2018, it is Orengo who took over as the minority leader. And remember, Orengo's leadership at the Senate was exemplary. He performed far much better. I don't think if we have any minority leader who has performed the way Orengo did during his tenure as minority leader. But the challenge when he became the governor, I don't think there's much that you can say about Orengo since he became the governor, as opposed to before he became the governor, because he was very much in the corridor of justice, fighting for the people or fighting for his party. And also in the assembly, he was one of the best brains in terms of legislation and formulation of bills in parliament. So you can give it that. You can give it for that. And since when you become a governor, you become now a CEO. You forget about your activism and your and your position, because now you are the CEO. You are the head of government at that county level. Yeah. So sometimes, because of how the role he has played since the reintroduction of multi-party politics, I think sometimes he forgets that right now he's a CEO of a county, and he's the governor, and he's an administrator. He's not just any other person. So if anything goes wrong in that specific county, he will be held to account. Therefore, it is always good not just to look ahead, but to also look back. Are you doing the right thing according to the expectation of the people that you are leading? So that even though you criticize the national government, which is okay, it is within your right, but you at the county level, people who can pinpoint that this is what you are doing, something that stands out, you don't just maintain status quo the way you found things. You don't want to disrupt the status quo, because what Ruto has done is that he has disrupted status quo in so many sectors, in health, in education, in so many things. He has come up with a radical way of doing things to try to disrupt the status quo. And as a governor, because before Orengo came, we had Colonel Rasanga, who served for 2 terms. People argue that he did not perform. Now Orengo has come in. What is he doing different that can make him stand out as a governor? Leave alone the whole country, but in Lowland, in Luo Nyanza. Because Luo Nyanza right now, the person who is standing out is Gladys Wanga, the governor of Homa Bay. The rest, these men are being, they are just getting lost in the peak. Even if you look at the info tract, when they say that they were grading governors, Wanga was coming up as one of the best. So whether it's politics or not, but the fact is these governors must do something to make them stand out, so that when they criticize the Ruto government discrimination, people will say, okay, they've done something, so they have that moral authority. Because you, as my brother Ben, you cannot be criticizing me for running down my home, and that your home is also in shambles. So you must ensure that your home is standing out as an example, so that when you point your fingers at me, people will say, okay, Ben has a point, because we can see he has done ABCD that Barack is not able to do. So Barack should learn from him.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay, thank you so much. And Makobura, I want to involve you, because there are also those who are saying that this is the best strategy, or the best strategy for especially for the ODM to exit the collaboration between the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Professor and President William Ruto, due to the fact that one, the broad-based government is not very popular on the ground, especially in in many parts of the country. If you give a percentage, is not popular as compared to BBI and the rest of the handshake that the prime minister has had. That is one. Then secondly, also, uh, this is also seen as a rebellion, especially from the, the 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 people who have been in ODM for so long, especially the likes of Nyong'o and Orengo, based on what they've done for the party. In terms of, Barack talked about the legal way, Anyongo, when it comes to planning, remember he was the first secretary general of the party, and there are people who are saying, okay, no, they're not in support of this. And it's just like showing you that these people are exiting. They're just looking for a place to exit. That is one. Then also, I want to also to talk about, if you are very keen, especially those who are now criticizing Orengo, even what Nyong'o said, they're not the ones that earlier we saw were allied to Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. These are people who were allied earlier to President William Ruto. So maybe they feel like the Orange Democratic Movement, especially those who are criticizing the broad-based government, are not very thankful for what the president has done, even by appointing some of the people from the region. What is your take on that?
Okay, thank you. Maybe my first analysis on the rebel that we are seeing amongst the close allies of Raila Amolo Odinga, that is Governor Rengo, Nyong'o, Sifuna, and many more. I think they are revolting, or they are behaving the way they're behaving, just to, maybe remind their party leader that they're not interested being in broad-based.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be that they have their reasons. And maybe if I can just mention, if you listened to the speech of James Orengo, he pointed out so many things, saying that we cannot just be praising a government without looking at what the government has done. Has the government respected the constitution? Has the government respected the freedoms which are entitled to everyone in the constitution? And again, if you also listened to Honorable Sifuna, this SG, he has been speaking, and he say most of time he do say that there's a point to even say that this, even if ODM decides that they're going to support him, he's not going to support William Ruto. And this is a discussion that we've always seen within the ODM.
Yeah.
And I think of late we've seen it from close allies, especially those Luo Nyanza who leaders who have always stood and were part and parcel of the formation of ODM. So my take would be, it is a sign that a good number of people are not really okay with this broad based, and by voicing out or by giving out their such kind of comments, it's just a show that they are not satisfied. They are not willing to continue with that, because some of them are going for re-elections in 2027,
Mm-hmm.
and currently associating themselves with the president, partly it might cost them politically, because the narrative that has been that is currently out, and especially among do I say the youths, is that anyone who is associating themselves with the president, I don't know if you saw even the analysis of the photos which were shared by the president when he went to China, and the youth leader was besides him. And the other day, if you can remember, there was an appointment. The son of the youth leader was also appointed to some position, and the conversation out there is that people are trying to shift the conversation, and they are now looking it in a particular angle. And remember, Kenyan politics is emotion based. the emotions of the people have been invoked, and they are reacting to that. There are some people who are seeing that as pure fact. And because of that, anyone associating themselves with either Raila Amolo Odinga or the president is a no-go zone to them. Politically, that might negatively or positively impact those politicians who have, you know, who are going for 2027, especially for re-election.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is my take on the revolt. And then you had also asked about uh, a group of people or politicians. These are the ones who are called professionals, and they're saying that those who are speaking against the government, and especially James Orengo, the governor of Siaya, is not first respecting Baba Rahila Amolo Odinga according to their statements, and also they're not respecting the president. Partly, this is a political environment. It could be that this is, these people are coming up with pressures. It could be that either they are sponsored by the closer allies of the president who are within the Nyanza region, because, as you know, ODM has been a threat to any government, and trying to cause confusion within ODM might give them a chance to penetrate the political background of Raila Amolo Odinga. So I might I'm seeing it in that way, but again, there's also a possibility of them just trying to seek for some relevancy, being that remember, this is a government that if if you're supporting them or saying things positive about them, they will always give you some fuel. So it could be these gentlemen were given some fuel, and they were just participating or giving back based on whatever they were given. That
Okay.
is me.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura, for that. And let's shift gears a little bit. There's something that is very, 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 very important here that we need to look at, because right now we are just waiting for president, or we are waiting for that day that we are going to get the CEO of the IEBC and the commissioner. But there's something here that is quite much interesting, said by the James Oswago. James Oswago was a former IBC CEO. He said there are several ways. There are 7 ways to rig an election. One is gerrymandering. 2 is ballot stuffing. 3 is ballot patches. 4 state violence, or no, 4 state violence. 5 digital manipulation. 6 is the integrity of electoral management body. 7 is manipulation of reports of election. The one that I'm so much interested on is the 6th one, which is the integrity of electoral management body, and that is the one that I'm interested for, especially Barack. If you look at the situation where we are right now and how the country is in terms of administration of President William Ruto, because so many people are not satisfied with the government of the president. You see how they are complaining, and we are having this coming at this time whereby the integrity and manipulation of electoral management, very, very core. And this is what people are saying. We want that body to be put in place, but we still have ways in which even that to rig election. How is that one going to be relevant or be cured for the 2027?
Well, thank you, Ben. I think you meant the chairman, not the CEO, because we have the CEO already in office.
No, former. I'm saying the former
Uh,
Oswago. You know
Oswald.
Oswago? Yeah. So Oswago, this is what Oswago gave. Like he was talking about the election, and he gave 7 ways in which our election, to be precise, because he was the CEO. So which means he was there. He knows how the system works. This is how it has always been.
I remember he was accused of a chicken gate scandal, if you remember that.
I do very well.
And he claimed that the people ate money and they turned the guns on him, and he was a victim of circumstance. Anyway, we cannot have a body, electoral body, that has integrity. That is not possible in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So that one we should forget.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that we are having in this country,
Mm-hmm.
they are problem that emanated from the 2007 election malpractices. We have never sorted out that issue
Yeah.
as a country. We've been sweeping it under the carpet. Each and every election that comes, the cycle continues. And I can assure you, I'm not a prophet of doom, but 2027 might be very dangerous for this country. Because we are constituting an IBC to oversee an election, and the person with the powers to constitute this body has interest in that election, and his interest is being threatened in that election. As a human being, how will you react? Yeah,
You react on what is going to favor you.
exactly. So it is natural that human beings will always follow their selfish interest. That is natural. You cannot die of hunger and give your food to another person so that they not die and you die. It's not possible. Even the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So the person with interest in this election will ensure that those people who comes in office to occupy those spaces are people that he is sure will protect his interest. That's a fact. So if this process could have happened when Ruto was still very confident, yeah, I think things could have been different. But right now, since he knows that the ground is very hostile, very hostile, and he is likely to make history as the president who has served for only one term, most likely to make history. So he will try so much using whatever at his disposal to ensure that the body that is coming to manage that election
Yeah.
is a body that he is comfortable with in the first place. And the chair, the most important person here is the chair of the IBC. The chair is someone who can be trusted. The chairperson of IBC must be trusted by the person who has interest in that. And remember, ever since when Kivutu was picked from KICC, if you remember that clip very well, by the police commissioner, the equivalent of IG today, that was called Mohammed Hussein, brigadier, and driven to State House to hand over the certificate of victory to Kibaki. The chair is the only person who determines who becomes the president. Yeah. And that is why you remember last year in 2022 in Bomas, just the other day, when the late
Chebukati
ran away with the certificate when fracas erupted, when he was about to announce to declare Ruto the president.
Yeah.
He had to run away literally with that paper. So I can assure you, Ruto is going to appoint a chair that is comfortable with, and even those commissioners, he's going to ensure that there are people who are friendly to him, and they are going to come to ensure that he retains his seat. So we are going to make noise, we are going to do anything, we are going to go to court, but eventually the constitution states that we must have election in 2027.
Yeah.
We have about 2 years right now. Yeah. And every day we are reducing these days. Yeah. So these people are going to come in office when they have limited time to prepare. Remember what happened in 2007? Yeah. 2017. When we had an electoral body that came in few months before election, and you know what happened until the Supreme Court overturned the election, the presidential election. And in 2022, we had 4 new commissioners in the run-up to election. And you saw what happened. Others going to Serena to declare their own results. And the chairman, who is legally mandated to declare the president, was declaring his own candidate at Bomas. And that is what stood. Because according to the constitution, it is the chairperson of the IBC who has the sole mandate of declaring the president. So whoever will be declared by the chair in 2027 according to the constitution, that will be the president-elect, and consequently will be sworn in as the president. So my fear as a Kenyan who is concerned is that we are sitting on a time bomb that might explode anytime. And that time of explosion most likely might be 2027, because Ruto is using the tactics of the former president, may his soul rest in peace, Daniel Arap Moi. You remember what Moi did in 1992, the first multi-party election? He successfully split the opposition votes. And then there was no 50 plus 1%. So even they forced even Kibaki to resign from government to go and form his own party and divide the votes of the opposition. And he managed to succeed. And remember, even before that, they had so many tribal clashes in Nakuru, Subukia, wherever, Joro, anywhere. So that, vote rigging is not about stealing actual votes. Vote
Yeah.
rigging happens in so many ways. You can suppress voters, you can intimidate people not to turn up to vote. Yeah, you can even come up with ways to ensure that they don't access the vote polling station, because only vote cast are the ones that are counted. So you
Yeah.
don't have, it's not a must for you to just steal the votes that have been cast. You can even displace people before election to ensure that they don't vote. You can even spread fear and people to run even to their rural homes so that they don't get a chance to vote. So there are so many ways, and I can assure you, if Ruto will feel that he's losing it, he will exploit all options that are available to him to ensure that even it means to displace people so that they don't vote, even it means to spread fear among the people so that they don't vote, as long as he retains his seat. So we are heading to 2027, but people who are concerned about this country must come out clearly and tell these things to the people, so that
Yeah.
we know that these options are available and they can be employed to ensure that the incumbent does not lose power. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. Thank you so much. And you talk of maybe putting in place any means necessary for him. And if you look at even what Osogo was putting here, I put number. This was number two, which I want Makubura to talk about. He was talking about number four. He was talking about the state violence. And mostly you will agree with me, when we are nearing election or we're in electioneering period, especially these are the communities, or people tend to have um, misunderstanding amongst themselves, depending from which party are you supporting. And some people end up, they have their votes in Nairobi, but they travel back at home. So Makubura, how can Kenyans themselves, based on the fact that now they've been told with somebody who has been in the system, now from what Oswago has said, now Kenyans can start learning and say, okay, this is the loophole. How can we seal this loophole?
Okay, thank you so much. And I want to acknowledge the fact that Barak has clearly clarified, and I think this is the best topic that maybe you should always engage him in, because he's ever had the opportunity to work within those environments. So I think he's in a best position to clarify all this. Yeah, but the question that you've asked, of course, just like Barak has mentioned, and he has given a long list on how the incumbent or anyone who wants to retain power, all those formulas that they can use. Just like the one you've mentioned, clashes either among different tribes, or among, people supporting different political leaders. Such kind of strategies can be used by the political class. We've seen those kind of strategies. Even just the other day, there was some nomination. Grassroots elections within the ODM. And if you watched what happened in Nyanza, Barak can tell you. I'm quite sure you watched it. It is
Yep.
actually a replica of the question that you've asked. It is the strategy that is used by the political class to they do what we call do I say hunting and gathering? They gather people and then it's a strategy that is well mastered by them, and they deploy it when they know that things are not really working out, because they do have close allies, especially of course those who are working within the system, and with the NIS and all those things. Wanasoma rada, and then from whatever information they are given, they have the leeway of deploying it just to suppress. And those are strategies we've always seen. For example, in Luo land, if maybe I can give you an example of what happened in 2007. If you remember, people were being threatened that, for example, if you're not supporting this person and you are in an area where that person is popular, then you'll be threatened that usijaribu kutoka ati unaenda kupigia huyo. Yeah, so such kind of things are there, but I can't really say that it can't happen. It can, because whatever we've seen in the Kenyan politics is something so strange. Whenever I can be your brother, Mr. Ben, I can be brother to Barack, but the moment we come to a political arena and we start fighting for one thing, that is the point that you will know that we are no longer friends, and that whatever we are aiming at is what is more important. We've seen brothers turn to brothers, we've seen tribe turn to tribe, we've seen area mates turning to area mates, just because of having a different stand when it comes to who they are supporting. Yeah,
Okay.
that is what I can say.
Okay, Barak, I want you to also, maybe if you can expand to us or make us understand, because there's this issue, especially when it comes kutuma salamu, whereby those who Kenyans feel, especially with the Gen Z, that are not doing the right thing, they will tuma salamu and come for you, in other words, or come for your family members, send you all those kind of text messages. And if you look at number 7, instead, number 7 is the number 7 is the manipulation of reports of election by supervisors and monitors. And these are the supervisors and the monitors. These are the members of IEBC. Yeah, these are the people now manipulate those numbers. So just take in case, like, okay, now election has been held, the winner has been announced, and the people of Kenya feel like it has not been done the right way. And with the kutuma salamu that we usually have, how safe are the people who are going to be given this job, even if they do it very, very, very best to their knowledge that we've performed well, and with kutuma salamu, how safe are they together with your family members?
Well, you know, the nature of human beings that we forget very fast.
Yeah.
Because if you remember the outcry of this in this country after Kivuitu declared Kibaki the president in 2007, and subsequently what happened to Kivuitu, and even when he passed away, I don't think any member of PNU went for his funeral. Afadhali Ruto has attended Kivuitu's funeral, afadhali, and the people of Kenya Kwanza government attended Kivuitu's funeral, Chebukati's funeral. Now, the issue of sending greetings to official, even after maybe declaring the president, normally when election is hotly contested and it is too close to call, almost half of the country will be aggrieved with the results. And that is what has been happening since 2007, 2013, 2017, and 2022, because the election has always been too close to call, and the country has always been divided almost right in the middle. So when you have such a scenario, it is always expected that almost half of the country are not going to be happy with the results, because they will feel they did not get justice in terms of that election, specific election. And the other half will feel happy because they will feel now that their candidates as one. And it has been happening 2013, 2017, 2022, just the other day. When half of the country is sad, half of the country is happy. And that I hope that will not be the scenario in 2027, because it is always good to have an election that has a clear winner, like 2002. Even those who lost, they lost happily, because uh, I don't know if you usually watch football. When your team is beaten 3-0, you know that hii tumepoteza. But when you are draw and sometimes referee gives a penalty at 94th minute, you feel like this was not justice. Yeah. So
Yeah.
any result that almost half of the country will feel that they not receive the justice. And remember, in any election, we usually have people who don't vote. And like in last election, they were about 8 million who did not vote. Yeah? And that's a big number. So those people who did not vote, combine them with those who have lost election, who are almost half of the country, then that's why you have the president who is having a very difficult time, because you are leading half of the country who did not vote for you, and about 8 million who never voted. So you don't know if they supported whoever, or they just decided wacha mwenye atakuja kuja. So people will be angry. They will send messages to the people who manage the election, but it will not help anyway, because democracy dictates that the majority have their way, even as the minority have their say. So you will be having your say, like people are saying right now, Ruto must go, but he's not going until 2027, because the majority voted for him according to the law. So democracy, you just even you can even also look at what's happening in the US. I saw the other day on 19th, demonstrators writing that Trump must go now. He must go now. That is not how democracy works. When you do not vote for the right person during an election,
Yeah.
and you allow the wrong person to win, you are bound with this person for the rest of that term. Or unless you want to use unconstitutional means to remove him from power, which are always lead to bloodshed and instability in a country. So people who, instead of those guys sending messages to the managers of election, let them go to vote. And I can assure you, there's sometimes the result that you cannot manipulate, especially right now, the way technology has advanced in this country. You cannot compare 2027 to 2007.
Yeah.
2007, there was a lot of primitivity. You remember, even in 2007, election ballot papers ballot boxes were being transported from the polling centers to the constituency tallying center, to be counted. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And they were black ballot boxes. I know Mark has not seen these things. There were black ballot boxes, and they were being transported to the constituency tallying center for counting. Yeah. So along the way, that's where now they stuffed full scabs of Kibaki. And when they reach at the constituency tallying center in Tharaka Nithi, they count those as votes. So right now, that is not possible, because elections are counted at the polling station, and the ballot boxes are transparent, and technology is very advanced in this country. So I know that the young people are going to avail themselves to ensure that whoever they prefer, they try to protect those votes, unless we have Ruto becomes very rogue in 2027 and shuts off the internet. But if the internet is not shut off, I can assure you, it's going to be very difficult to interfere with that, with the results, because the young people, yeah, who are seeing how things are going on, how their future is being robbed, how their future is being undermined, I can assure you, they are going to come out with their gadgets fully charged, and others will even carry chargers and jackets to ensure that they get the right person in power. And my prayer is that we are not going to vote with emotions, but we are going to vote with our brain, so that we get the right person in power. Because voting with emotions is the reason why we are where we are today. That's my point.
Okay, thank you. No, before I invite Makobura, there's something that I need to ask you. when do you think that the political class or even Kenyans themselves will learn to say no based on what surrounds the, especially when it comes to electoral system, from how we go through process of electing or giving the people the mandate to run our election, to how even we are voting and we are transmitting the system, even how we make those packs immediately after election so that our election can have significance. And the reason why I'm asking you this, like right now, we have broad-based government. And when we have broad-based government and you come and look at what is election all about when you vote, you put in a particular administration into the power, and this administration should deliver to the people of Kenya. So this means they've given the mandate to deliver. But if they cannot deliver, now you're being told now we have to come in to assist you to deliver. How can we make that say no, such that such arrangements are not available for us?
I hope that after 2027, we
Yeah.
don't have such arrangement. Because you remember Uhuru's government, the first term from 2013 to 2017, there was nothing like handshake. They just led him and his deputy Ruto. They just led that government
Yeah.
from 2013 when they was elected in office to 2017 when they went for another second term. Now, problem started after that. Yeah, and you know what happened when everything with the BBI and the revolt with Ruto and people being kicked out of government and everything. So it makes a mockery of democracy if you can spend billions of money in election only for politicians to decide who rules after that election, not the electorates. Because that is what has been happening in this country, especially 2017 and 2022. Because 2007, we can leave that out of the equation because of the dynamics that reshaped that election. But
Yeah.
and remember, even in 2002, when NAC came together and won power, and there was fallout between Kibaki and Raila, and after referendum of 2005, Kibaki chased them out of government, and Kibaki brought in his competitors of 2002 election. That was one of them was Nyachai, Simeon Nyachai of Ford People, and the likes of Njenga Karume who are in Kanu. So you find that it is politics of survival. Come help me finish this term, then we'll sort out our issues at the end of the term. Now, can we say as a country that if we want to have an electoral pact, can they have them after election so that there is no fallout after election? Then you bring in your competitors to help you run the government. Because if you look at, for example, parliamentary democracies, where they go into a coalition agreement after election, because now you remember even in South Africa the other day they went to election, then ANC did not get the majority, so they had to reach out to other smaller parties. So you are coming in because of the strength of your political party, yeah.
But yes.
And we form government based on agreement that now we have a country here to serve. But when we form coalitions before election, we go to election, then immediate after election, we fall out. We now start looking for people who are insulting us, and we have to reconcile with them and now start serving. It makes our democracy a mockery or a nonsense, because we spend millions only to end up with the same people who are insulting each other. Because the country is polarized, people hate each other, they end up together. And those who are singing praises to the president are now singing other praises to other. So you find that it's a confusion of even democracy itself. So I don't know if we are mature enough to say no to this nonsense, because we are imagine wasting time to insult people online. You are wasting time to hate people only for them to come together tomorrow, and now you are forced to now to love them again. And it is not good. It's not even democratic. It's just something that is unique on its own.
It is quite much interesting the way you've said it, that sometimes it's unique on its own, especially when it comes to the political landscape of our country. I can bring you, take you back to the Uhuru too. You know, at some point, the opposition did not recognize the presidency of President William Ruto, and they would not even kind of like respect that office, the office of the presidency, and they would even call him names. And when they came together, you know, you find that now President Uhuru Kenyatta was such a darling of the people, you know, and it happened also with President William Ruto. The very moment now they came with the broad-based government, you find like President Ruto right now is getting praises. Everything that President Ruto is doing is right, such that if you try to criticize, you are being labeled as somebody who is discrediting the unity of this country. You are somebody who do not want development in this country. You are somebody who is not loving the country, because I can remember the Dagoretti North Member of Parliament, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, you say, if you can, siuhame, you know, yeah, when it reaches that point whereby you're just trying to point out things that are not working in your country, that you feel they should be done better, but you're seeing you're seen as somebody who is not loving the progress of your country. Where did we miss it, especially, or where is the disconnect between the leaders that are leading us, the institutions of democracy, and the respect of the rule of law, and the work of the president as to the country as a whole, because it's a unifying factor?
I think we just have to be get serious as a society, because
Yeah.
it cannot be that if you remember 2017, when NASA boycotted election,
Yeah.
and Uhuru was elected almost like he was elected unopposed, because Ukuru Court could not marshal even 100,000 votes. So Uhuru Kenyatta was elected unopposed. And Raila said, as the leader of NASA, that Uhuru Kenyatta is not the president. They do not recognize him as the president. And remember, they were even planning some secession. We were having a discussion on secession. And even some technocrats drafted a map of the Republic of Kenya and I don't know the other one was called Central Republic of Kenya. So
Actually, there are even people who went to court, if I'm not wrong.
yeah. So it was a very serious issue.
Yeah.
And when Uhuru and when Raila was seen at Harambe House with shaking hands with Uhuru Kenyatta, and Raila said that this descent ends here today, and he called Uhuru Kenyatta the president from that day. And now he becomes the president now for people of NASA, without any proper explanation what changed or what went wrong or what went right. Now the person that you did not recognize yesterday is the person now you are heaping praise on for the following day, and the masses who supports him embraces now Uhuru Kenyatta, and he becomes even loved more than where in his backyard in central Kenya. The same thing happened. The same thing happened with the William Ruto. Remember the demonstration 2023? They were very categorical that William Ruto is not their president. And up to today, I can remember even Martha Karua has refused to call Ruto their president.
Yes, he has.
But now, when these guys, when Raila and Ruto became darling, and now he all of a sudden he became the president, and now people who are closer to Raila are now heaping praise. In fact, they are defending Ruto than even UDA members. Yeah, if you go to Parliament, yeah, William is the darling of ODM members than even UDA members. So you find that this hypocrisy, that people are ready to praise sycophants, yeah, because people should be asking question. At what point did he become the president? Because initially he was not your president. And you know, according to the constitution, anybody who has been declared the winner by the electoral body and has been sworn as the president, he becomes the president of the country. Remember the US, the way they had a hotly contested election. it is not on record. It is not on record that Kamala Harris refused to call Trump the president. Yeah, even in 2016, Hillary Clinton did not refuse to call Trump the president. Yeah, it is only President Trump who is a lunatic who refused to call Joe Biden the president in 2020 because of his own personal issues. But
Yeah.
the people of America, they understand that once someone has been declared the winner, has been sworn in office, he becomes a unifying factor. He is our president. And that is what we are lacking as a country. That until Raila gives us direction, that now he is the president, now then he becomes the president. Now he's not the president, now he's not the president. Surely, we must retreat and come back to the constitution and try to operate within the law so that we are not manipulated by these politicians and we don't just follow them as if we don't have our own brains. Yeah, because the
Okay.
problem is that we follow politicians minus our brains. We leave our brains at home and we go to rallies or we follow them wherever they are without using our brain. And whatever they say, we don't question. We just say, Baba Mesema, that is the direction. That is not
Yeah.
that should not be the case. Yeah.
Do you think, especially when you look at the political landscape or how it has always been played about on how our politics works, especially when you form a coalition, you compete against another coalition, you find that those who are competing, you become enemies. And if it disintegrate, especially like for instance, you look at Rigathi Gachagua was very part and parcel of Kenya Kwanza formation, but when he left, he became the biggest critic of the president. And you go over the other side on Azimio, ODM was the biggest critic of the Kenya Kwanza. When the ODM came in, they became the best that are actually fighting for president. They're telling us of good things that president has given us. Does it mean that there's an opportunity? If you miss that opportunity, you become very bitter of coming out of the opportunity. And if you get the opportunity to be, you become very happy person. That the only thing that makes people to behave different is an opportunity. That opportunity, if you miss it out.
Absolutely. I think you've just put it very clear. Just look at the actors we have right now. The person who is the most critical of President Ruto was his biggest defender yesterday. And the biggest defender of Ruto today was his biggest critic yesterday. What changed? Interest, opportunities, and everything. Yeah. And that is the hypocrisy we should forbid in this country. Because it means that leaders do not have principles. They are not guided by values, by virtues, by ethics. They are guided by their own stomach and loyalty to their political semi-gods or gods or whatever. Because just look at, my problem with Kenyans is that we celebrate them as if they just arrived here yesterday or today in the morning. The Gachagua that people are praising right now, it is the same Gachagua who was here just the other day speaking other things. Yeah. The Cleophas Malala of today that is a hero because he has written a play, Echoes of War, is the same Malala who was saying so many things the other day before he was chased away as the SSG of UDA.
Of UDM.
If you look at the experts in government, Opio and I, who sometimes talks, and I just ask myself that this guy, where did he take his brain? So he is the number one, and he's saying today, tomorrow, and forever, President Ruto, we are with you. Yeah. So you wonder. And so the people, I think it's upon the people to refuse this kind of leaders. We have very few leaders who are principled. Very few. I can assure you. Very few. But most of them, And the reason why they behave that way is because of the cheers they get from the from the population or the public when they speak in public. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
people love that. That if your leader has been removed from positions of power, then automatically you inherit their political enemies. And if your leader has been given a position, like I hear people saying that for the first time in history, Luo people have been given finance ministry, automatically you inherit their political friends without asking questions. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I believe that the people have a responsibility to hold leaders to account, especially based on their words of
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, so that it can inform the today and tomorrow. But if we continue celebrating these leaders when they are misbehaving, if we continue celebrating these leaders when because now they are not earning, now they are with us, but when they are earning, they are not with us, and then we
Mm-hmm.
claim that we want to change our society. I can assure you we will be recycling leaders without ethos, leaders without values each and every election, because they have proven to us that they don't have values. They don't value us. They don't even care about the people. They only care about their positions and their
Mm-hmm.
interest. And once those positions have been taken away from them, they claim that now they are defending you, that now they are speaking the truth. For who? For themselves. Yeah. Those who are speaking the truth for you the other day, once they have been absorbed in government, my friend, don't touch the government. Experts are in government. Don't touch. Yeah. So we
Mm-hmm.
have a responsibility as a people to ensure that we don't give opportunity to such leaders because they don't care about us at all. That's my point, my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. You went a little bit late out, and we were just discussing about looking at um, the scenario on the political processes, especially when it comes to election, and whereby when we go to election, we always go to election to get somebody, an administration that is going to rule. And if the administration maybe is facing challenges with the people, then those who you did not share with ideology, it has happened. It's something that has happened in our country. It's not very new, but now we are asking ourselves, will there reach a point that we are ready to say no, so that if, for instance, we have a particular administration in office, we have on how to hold it accountable. Remember, when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was the BBI, when they're working with former President Uhuru Kenyatta, all the failures of those governments, President Ruto did not want to take responsibility of it, because he said that we had good plans, but BBI imekuja ikachukua the big four agenda, so he did not take the responsibility, and the responsibility really was between the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and that was the campaign. But now we have again president right now with his administration is facing the challenges with the Kenyans, and the Right Honorable Prime Minister has come in, yeah, and the challenges during the campaigns. I know if to tell the Orange Democratic are going to fill in candidates, that is going to be the order of campaign, because you're going to take responsibility of failures for the government to keep the promise, or even if they disagree along the way, say that we tried, but when we brought them in, they decided just not to assist us do that. At what point, or will we say no? As a country now, we need a democracy that is working, that each and every administration should be held responsible without putting a blame game on any other person.
Okay, thank you. Personally, I've never understood where we've always gotten these people that we've appointed to these political seats, because wanakwanga wanadamu before they get to these positions. They come, they tell us, I want to do this, I want to do this, invoke our emotions, and you tell yourself, yes, this is the right person. And then the moment these people the moment now you give them a chance to lead, it becomes something else. And they tend to forget all those things that they promised, like wanaanza kufanya vitu zingine tofauti mpaka unashindwa, is this really the person who came to ask for my vote? And then they're coming they come when they are very humble, they are very, patient, they're very composed, very disciplined. But once you give them the votes, they turn to something else. I've just like Baraka said, was it yesterday or today? There was a headline in one of the newspapers, and it captured the conversations, or it captured what the former CS of Agriculture had, spoken about Linturi, and he said that the problem started in ODM or Kenya Kwanza when the broad-based government or when Raila came in, and then I asked myself, because that is being insincere. I think the problem started in Kenya Kwanza or UDA immediately after the Gen Zs, when the Gen Zs came. And I remember by then Raila had not joined hands with the president. So I've never understood why once they are out, they tend to again invoke the emotions, come up with lies, just to try and make their conversation straight. But if you're a good analyst, if you're someone who has good memory, and you do an analysis of their statement, automatically you'll find them lying. Something else that I also noticed is if you remember when Gachagua, the former deputy president, mentioned something about the corruption that was there in the in agriculture docket, and he was saying that Linturi was just being, his name was just being dragged there. He was not really the big fish, and Linturi also came out to clarify that. My question to him would be, why is it that he had all the time, he had all the facts by then, before leaving or before being accused? He even had the opportunity to appear before the parliament. He did not give all those facts. He did not present the facts before them so that the issues would be looked into, and the people of Kenya would get to know the truth. I think it's because of their personal interest. It is because they're not being sincere to the people of Kenya. And once they have learned that things have gone south, that is when they tend to come back again to try invoke, or to lie or seek for sympathy from the people of Kenya. Maybe I'll stop from that for today. Barak, I'll give you a chance to give us your last remarks. And I yeah, you can give us your last remarks and then I'll give mine.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy and much grateful to our viewers for joining us. I've seen they've kept us active in the comment section. Uh, I'm so happy to see that the Gypsy Corner is still around. Misiani, Gitonga, and the rest who are typing, you are still around. I just want to tell Mr. Misiani that mimi sina hasira na baba. Baba is my political idol, and I only speak my mind. And I think as a political scientist, I have a responsibility to tell you the truth. And that is the truth is what many people don't want to hear. It's not about Asira, it's not about being personal, it's just being putting facts the way they are. And I can assure you, if many Kenyans can do that, we can have an objective conversation about our country, because all of us want the best for this country, and we only disagree on the strategy, which is the best way to have the best for this country. And I hope that Kenyans, as we head to 2027, are going to be more objective, so that we don't elect leaders based on emotions, as we have been always doing, and ending up with bad leaders in office. And we end up complaining for 5 years, and again, we elect leaders with emotions. So if we try to minimize emotions and enhance objectivity, I believe we can have a very good country. Kenya is a country with many good people who are hardworking, people who are innovative, people who are excellent in so many ways. Our only problem is politics. When it comes to politics, we don't get it right. And I think if we get it right in politics, I can assure Kenya will be a force to reckon with, not only in the region, but in Africa as a whole. So thank you so much, our viewers, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Continue supporting this channel, and I believe that we can shape the next election by being objective. Asante sana. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barak. As you can see on the screen, Gypsy Corner is saying, thanks, Barak. It's nice to really see you back with real facts. I can attest to that. I want to also take this opportunity to say a big thank you to you, Mr. Barak. I called you. I called you when you had not actually prepared, but I can see. Um, maybe for I just let Gypsy Corner know this that Barak is a true professional in the field of politics. So he truly understands this, things to do with politics, and that is why even if you wake him up and you ask him any question that is related to politics, he will always give you facts. Yeah, so we really appreciate Barak for honoring our invite and also giving us your take. To our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you are joining us for the first time, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, and we will really appreciate. I also want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to everyone, Gypsy Corner, Laban, Gitonga, and Wari, Batseba, Political Buff, Judith. I also saw Kennedy Sankara, and Brenda Obedi, and everyone who joined and uh, interacted with us at the comment section. We really say a big thank you, and we hope that you'll join us again tomorrow. I want to take this opportunity now to just wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Bye bye.